Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah.
Everything's cuter when a baby says it. So, welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Try-F Podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. And today, we got 3 subjects we're going to talk about, or try to talk about. We're going to revisit the Epstein situation. In my humble opinion, Trump has been doing a great job on a lot of different stuff. But this Epstein thing remains a turd in the punch bowl.
I haven't heard any new information in a long time.
It just keeps getting worse. It's more of the same. It's like we know he's CIA. Just admit he's CIA. Everybody's been screaming he's CIA. We're paying for child trafficking. Just up it and get it over with. But anyway, so we got that. But he's been doing great on a lot of other stuff. Our first story today is... the Tylenol situation. We learned that apparently Tylenol is a contributing factor to autism. And apparently people were so incensed. Of course, Tylenol was like, we told you not to take Tylenol when you're pregnant anyway. I don't know what... that like, it's for emergencies only. You shouldn't take it when you're pregnant. We already said that. So it's not like it's Tylenol's fault. But apparently women were so incensed that I guess one girl took a bunch of Tylenol. Yeah, it wound up in the hot.
She almost
OD'd on it. Just to... Why?
Just to prove a point. Prove a point.
Well, it wasn't the point she wanted to prove. So, anyway, so we're going to talk... Sorry, Greg.
Like, we just hate Trump so much, we're going to give our...
I'm going to OD. That'll show him.
That'll show him.
Oh, my gosh. I just don't understand people. I really don't. Anyway, so we had that wonderful little thing that happened. And then we're going to end the night with a review of The Matrix. I went through all the H.G. Wells stuff, and... we let the people speak because the first one did really well. The Time Machine reviews performed pretty well on our channel. Everything else, apparently nobody cares about the island of Dr. Monroe. It's a little subtle. And nobody's even heard of things to come. So people didn't care so much about those. I care about them because H.G. Wells was a filthy communist. Or I'm sorry, Fabian socialist. But anyway... so apparently nobody cares about that. So we're going to talk about something else related to sci-fi and see what it does. We're going to talk about The Matrix. And depending on how much...
Is that the one? Is that the one with Neo?
That is the one with Neo. The one where he dodges the bullets.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, the first one's good. The others are terrible. But we'll talk about that later. Except, actually, I liked the last one more than I thought I would. Actually.
What?
Resurrections. The fourth one. The one that the director clearly didn't want to make and was forced to make. And so he, like, complained about the directors and the studios in the film, and they still let him do it because it's like, we don't care, man. It's a cash cow. You can whine about us. We're still going to get our money. So
we want to make
so we'll talk about that. And, yeah, and then if there's time, we've got an extra topic, and then I've got something of an announcement to make, but I won't dwell too long on that. So... with that gigantic, long, convoluted introduction over with, Mr. Trevor, how are you?
I don't know. How are you?
Exhausted. All
Let's
right.
go with that, then.
Greg, how are you?
Also exhausted.
Yeah, you were chasing little ones around today, so yeah.
Man, they crashed so hard when we got home.
Well, that's good.
You're not allowed to crash.
Oh. Wait till they start yelling, I'm not tired! So.
It's not my bedtime.
All right, well, we'll start with this first topic.
or not the mama,
Not the mama. I haven't got not the mama yet. I haven't been downgraded yet to that extent. Well, we'll start.
We're at the stage.
No,
Go ahead.
for it. Go for it.
Go ahead. I was just going to say we're at the stage where Lucy is loudly saying words and mispronouncing them. So, kitty has 3 T's in it, and she yells that very loudly. Horse does not have an S in it. Anytime she sees a picture of a horse, which is really fun in church.
Got some. It's like we need to have a conversation. Have you got that? Got that line yet?
You can't say that in church.
Not yet.
She's getting a little old for those kinds of mistakes. I think there might be something going on at the home. But anyway, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Good times.
Okay. So yes, we will move on now. That was a clunky transition, but shush, I'm tired.
We're already on part
No.
3?
We're like 5 minutes in. Why would
Oh.
we be on part 3? Anyway. Part
Hardcore.
4. Oh my gosh. All right, look. Trump said Tylenol's bad for you. Okay, so that's our first story. That's my lead in. We've got the press conference here.
But is it?
We're going to react to a little bit of it.
Why would he say such a terrible
Oh, probably
thing?
because it's true. You know, you mean a synthetic thing made in a lab is bad for you? You're kidding.
It's
take
not
it all the time.
actually new information. I remember when Kim was pregnant with Lucy, there's some big lawsuit against Tylenol for that exact reason. So, I mean, people have known this is a potential issue for years, but Trump says it, and suddenly now we have to chug Tylenol to try to own MAGA, I guess. I don't know.
She won. But anyway,
That's
I'm glad
something
she's
I have a
alive, though,
problem
and I
with.
hope her kid ends up being okay. But good night. Wow.
That's something I have trouble understanding is why are people like so against MAGA? Like, do they not understand that it just means that we're for our country?
Oh, I have so many theories about that.
It's like, what, do you not like the country so much
No,
Yes.
that you hate the phrase "make your country great again"?
Let me explain the mind of
simple that.
the mind of these people. Like, people act like it's an enigma. I don't think it is. It's I hate my father. When I think of these people that are anti-MAGA, I just think of spiteful nudists. It's like petulant teenagers that are like, "Look, Dad, I'm naked. Do you love me now? F you." That's like what it is, even though they're humiliating themselves in public. In other words, these are people that cut off their nose to spite their own face. And so
Like Voldemort.
it doesn't matter if it's transgenderism. It doesn't matter if it's self-destructive. It doesn't matter if it's ODing on Tylenol. Like, America, nationalism, it's all tradition. It's all my dad. It's all authority. And so there's no ethos beyond, I hate that thing that's older than me.
So it's literally just rebellion.
Straight up, pure rebellion. Pure rebellion. That's right.
Not complicated. People never grow
people
up.
are like, oh, look how hypocritical the left is. It's like they don't have an ethos, guys. They just hate you. Like, there's no ideology. It's not like we're talking about existentialism and the potential tensions within existentialism and nihilism. Like, how can you know if there's an objective morality when there is no God and you have these self-defeating, like, problems with a worldview that you've got to dissect? No, they just hate their dads. There's no, like, they don't care if there's a tension or an inconsistency because it's not about it's not about anything. It's just about tearing stuff down. Like, when you and I talk about being pro-life, we believe in life. We believe in this concept of life. You know what I mean? Like,
Life has value.
life has value.
all
We
has
have an
value.
ideology that teaches, that life is objective and the value is objective and God has created us and all that. So there's a philosophical underpinning behind that political position. Like our religion, our philosophy, that determines our politics. But these people, like when they say pro-choice, they don't actually believe that a woman has the right to choose. Do you understand? They'll say it they'll scream their heads off about it. Now, again, we're talking about the left. We're talking about people who take Tylenol to OD. They'll say the parrot line because they've heard it. But what it's really about is, wait a minute, I like sex, but I don't want to have a kid. So I need the abortion for an out. You know, there's no like philosophical ideology that they're defending. It's just reactionary. It's just, I want to do what I want.
They made it very clear, like, you know, during COVID, you have the right, you have the right to choose, unless it's this vaccine that we popped out of a, you know, factory 2 months ago, and now you have to take it or else you're going to get fired.
Exactly. And people act like it's confusing, but it's like, it's really not. It's just all about, I want to do what I want, and screw my father for telling me what to do. It's angry, petulant teenage girl syndrome. That's all it is, which is why most of these crazy leftists are angry teenage girls. So, not to be sexist, but anyway, yeah, they hate MAGA because it represents tradition and authority. That's really what it is. And if it's tradition and if it's authority, they hate it. They're not, like you and I, we think about ideals, we think about philosophy, we think about abstract concepts. They don't. And they never have. It's just all about burning stuff down. And getting even with somebody who hurt them when they were younger or some such thing. Bottom line, it's very emotional. And it's self-destructive and humiliating. You know what I mean? Like, which is kind of why I brought up the nudist analogy, as weird as that is. It's like these people look like fools, but they think they're sticking it to the man.
What if I told you I wanted to be a nudist?
Don't tell me about it, and don't go, "Hi, Dad, I'm naked," because that would be weird.
Yeah, no, I don't think my dad would be
Yeah,
okay with
yeah. I would doubt it. I'd be like, you know, you were going to get an inheritance. I hope you really like that beach. So, anyway, so does anybody have anything else to add to that point? That's in.
No, that's a very good explanation.
No, boiled it down.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
no problem. I hope I just was coherent. So hopefully that made sense. But anyway, all right. So after we've discussed the self-destructive tendencies of these leftist types, let's watch Trump talk about why Tylenol is bad for you, and then Tylenol going, "Yeah, we know," and then the women going, "How dare you?" I'm sorry, the leftists going, "How dare you?" So let's see here.
For some reason, a more severe problem. But whether it's 1 in 12 or 1 in 31, can you imagine? That's down from 1 in 20,000 and 1 in 10,000. And now we're at the level of 1 in 12 in some cases for boys. 1 in 31 overall. So
Just for clarity, he's talking about autism rates.
Autism rates have surged by much more than 400%. Instead of attacking those who ask questions, everyone should be grateful for those who are trying to get the answers to this complex situation. And the first day all of these great doctors behind me were there, I told them this is what we have to find out. Because when you go from 20,000 to 10,000 and then you go to 12, you know there's something artificial. They're taking something. And by the way, I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism.
He's talking about the Amish, in case you're wondering. It's like, hey, why don't the Amish, you know, those guys that don't take any of our crap, why don't they get sick? Where's the polio epidemic with the Amish?
That have no autism. Does that tell you something? That's currently, is that a correct statement, by the way?
There are some studies that suggest that, yeah, with the Amish, for example.
The Amish, yeah, virtually. I heard none. See, Bobby wants to be very careful with what he says, and he should, but I'm not so careful with what I say. But you have certain
To be
groups.
fair,
The
that is
Amish,
why we voted for him.
I'm not so careful.
as an
I love how he
example.
just stopped and he's like, "Is that right? Okay, is that right? Am I?"
Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's stuff like that. That's why he's popular.
hearing?
Or unpopular.
they have essentially no autism. First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Yes. Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol, during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. That's, for instance, in cases of extremely high fever, that you feel you can't tough it out, you can't do it. I guess there's that. It's a small number of cases, I think. But if you can't tough it out, if you can't do it, that's what you're going to have to do. You'll take a Tylenol, but it'll be very sparingly. It can be something that's very dangerous to the woman's health. In other words, a fever that's very, very dangerous, and ideally a doctor's decision, because I think you shouldn't take it, and you shouldn't take it during the entire pregnancy. They may tell you that toward the end of the pregnancy you shouldn't take it during the entire, and you shouldn't give the child the Tylenol every time he's born and he goes and has a shot. You shouldn't give a Tylenol to that child. All pregnant women should talk to their doctors for more information about limiting the use of this medication while pregnant. So ideally you don't take it at all, but if you can't tough it out, if there's a problem, you're going to end up doing it. The other thing that I can tell you that I'll say that they will maybe say at a little bit later date, but I think when you go for the shot, you do it over a 5-time period. Take it over 5 times or 4 times, but you take it in smaller doses.
Sorry?
What shot is he
I
referring
missed
to?
that exactly. Greg, did you happen to hear what shot he was referring to?
Yeah, I've been trying to.
Yeah, he seems to be referring to like taking Tylenol by shot, but that's not how people take Tylenol.
Yeah.
So
I'm getting the vibe that he didn't. I don't think he's ever taken Tylenol before.
you can't say acetaminophen. And
That's probably why he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
He never took the shot, so he's miles ahead of us.
Yeah.
Well, let me take a moment here since we paused to ask a question, because there's basically 2 theories to go about this. Because the way I understand this, having listened to the news for the last week on the subject, is you've basically got the Tylenol weakening the blood-brain barrier, and then the heavy metals and the toxicity of the vaccines causing brain damage after that barrier has been weakened. So that's a kind of a 1-2 punch is the way I've understood this problem. So, yeah. So let me posit it this way. Do you think that this is a scenario where they are, as Alex Jones would say, soft killing people, as in these are intentionally tainted vaccines that are meant to kill people slowly over time, like i.e. Bill Gates giving India polio and then India banning him because there's nothing to see there? Or do you think this is a situation where, like, I'm going to say something I never thought I'd say. I actually feel a little bad for Tylenol, and I don't actually blame them as much as other people might. And the reason being is because you can't do effective clinical studies on pregnant women. Because what psychopath, except the most extreme I hate my father leftist, would actually agree to a clinical trial where their child could end up being adversely affected by an experimental drug? You know?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. None of them. You would hope no pregnant mother would ever do that. So how is Tylenol supposed to effectively test their drug on pregnant women? They can't. And so I'm a little like, you're not the bad guy. That's the fair point. I don't really want you doing clinical trials on pregnant women. That sounds like a bad idea.
Mhm.
So I'm actually a little empathetic
The only-
to them.
Yeah, the only logical way they could go about it is to do like a survey
Which is
type
yeah.
thing, where they ask women after they've had their kid, did you take
Exactly,
this
which
or
is
not?
where this information is coming from, because we've been getting snippets of data that's kind of not direct over the course of years. And now we're starting to go, okay, there seems to be a correlation between Tylenol and autism, but, because it's survey data, we don't exactly know what the precise extent of it is. Does that make sense? Because there could be a million different correlations, since this is information taken after the fact and not a specific experiment designed to look for that thing and to get rid of everything. Like, you can't develop an effective control with survey data, So that's kind of the problem with this, because, I don't want them testing stuff on pregnant women. That would be awful. So, yeah, this is kind of the best they can do. So I'm not going to jump down Tylenol's throat very much about it, but given how much resistance we've gotten over even just having this press conference and even having this conversation, I know that there's got to be some bad actor somewhere in this, because it's he doth protest too much. So that obviously steers this suspicion towards the vaccine companies, the guys putting out the hepatitis B shot and everything else. So do you think it's an intentional soft kill weapon with the vaccines, or do you think it's one of those deals where these vaccines are just really dirty, really sloppily put together? They're kind of gross in how they're put together, and people are just trying to save money and cut corners, and they're poisoning the public because they're lazy. So do you think do you think this is laziness, or do you think this is the result of a soft kill weapon, this autism epidemic? Trevor, we'll start with you. What do you think?
I think they're doing the soft killing, but on purpose.
Okay, so that's intentional. So it's a soft kill weapon.
It's an intentional. We're gonna make you just a tiny bit sick, so you'll keep going to the doctor, and then we'll just up your dose if you keep feeling worse.
Okay.
That's happened to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that would attest to that. So Trevor thinks it's a soft kill weapon. Greg, what do you think?
I would think it's probably
Think it's
just laziness. Simply because if it was like a conspiracy of soft kill weapon, as you say, it would just take one person leaking this information out. And when you're talking about something as blatantly evil as this, there would have to be a lot of people involved. You would think there would be somebody that would have come out and that was involved in this that would have said something. But I don't know. Maybe they're all just demon possessed.
They are,
But
all of them.
It's all of them. Everyone. It's possible, but I would lean more towards laziness.
Well, I mean, think about it. The demons have had thousands of years to plant this, so.
Yeah.
I am leaning more towards soft kill, mostly because of Bill Gates being the head of Planned Parenthood and the head of vaccines, and being connected to the prominent eugenics movement. Given the guys in the leadership, that makes me think it's soft kill. As far as, I'll address some of the comments that you made with regards to the people speaking out, and you would think there'd be a lot of people involved. That's one of the deals that I methodologically, that's why they do compartmentalization. They don't, not every doctor has to know what the vaccine does. They've just got to trust the science,
There would still have to be quite a bit of people in charge of these vaccine companies that would know what they're doing, and they would know it would deliver it. So
I think it depends on what you mean by large. I would say, if I'm just going to shoot a number out in the ballpark, I would say there's probably somewhere between 20 and 100 people that actually know. And I think you could pull the conspiracy off of 20 to 100 people in positions of leadership. So, and I think you could compartmentalize it all the way down from there. So, because what do you what do you need? What do you need if you're going to do a soft kill weapon? you need a methodology. So let's just take one conspiracy theory, for example. Let's take Bill Gates's polio thing. Now, the way that I understood that they did this, because number one, during his TED Talk, he said that they were going to limit the population through vaccines. Well, guess how that's done. The way that I understand him doing this is they basically took a protein that is connected to, like, it's the same kind of protein that like your internal sexual organs are made out of. So like your ovaries and your testicles, like that they grew the virus on a strand of proteins that is shared with your sexual reproductive organs. And so not only did the body learn to fight the virus, the polio virus, it also started to attack the ovaries because it linked the protein strand with the virus itself. And so it attacked certain kinds of bodies. So it's basically Bill Gates is creating autoimmune disorders to kind of slowly kill people off, like reduce their life expectancy through inflammation because the body's constantly attacking itself. So you need somebody who knows that theory, who has that theory, and then you need somebody who can actually, like make the chemical and all of this. And then after that, it's just a matter of distribution. And I would argue that once you get through the distribution chain, nobody else needs to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Yeah. I just think, like you said, 20 to 100 people, it's possible to be a conspiracy, but 100 people doing something this evil, you would think there'd be somebody with a conscience.
Yeah, and I imagine there have been, but they get Hillary Clintoned.
Yeah,
they get deleted.
They get WikiLeaksed. So, yeah, I don't know. Pick your nefarious verb. So that's kind of what I think it is. I think also you got to remember the CIA and everybody else is always running, like, the media narrative is insane. Like, think about Waco. Like, they burned women and children alive in broad daylight, but they had the media and they're like, this is okay. This is okay because David Koresh is crazy.
Good.
He was a polygamist, so we should burn his wife and children. It's okay because he's crazy. That's how they were able to convince a whole group of people, like the whole Dad Blame Nation, that it was perfectly fine to kill innocent people because the man was a nut. And if they could do that, then all they need to say is like, conspiracy theorist, you and your silly vaccine theories. Justice science. So I'm getting better at that Fauci voice. I blame the cigars. So, but I'm actually worried about Tylenol. So anyway, all right. So do we want to go on, or does anybody have any thoughts?
Go on with your bad self,
Greg.
Yeah, I mean, I would just note again, this is not exactly new information. This has been going on. People have been talking about the link between Tylenol and autism for years at this point. And, everybody acts like this is, well, it's because the FDA is behind it and stating it now. But people have known
CLRS.
CLRS sent us an emoji. It's like, what is that? It's a bunny rabbit or a ghost? I don't know. We're old.
It's a reaction.
So, all right.
I'll be right back. 1 minute, guys.
Well, Mr. Trevor, what do you think while he's gone? Let's keep this conversation rolling. I'd like to try to wait till he gets back to start it up again.
What do I think about what?
You're talking about it being a soft kill. I guess it's not super interesting because I guess we're both in agreement. But
well, I mean, the way I think about it is because I take a thyroid medication, and since taking the medication, I've only seemed to have gotten worse. It doesn't get better. So instead of like being like, oh, let's change it or something, they just upped my dose.
Yeah.
And then it got worse again.
Yeah.
Instead of trying something else. And I did suggest, hey, is there another one I can take? And they're like, no, this one's the best for you. And they upped my dose again. And still hasn't helped.
I have a similar situation, but it's not nearly as. Hey, there's another emoji. That's cool. Yay, emojis. Anyway, yeah.
Probably on their phone.
So I have a similar one, but it's not nearly as like high stakes. Mine's more like pedantic, I guess. But I've had a similar experience with toothpaste, actually, of all things.
Oh yeah, don't brush your teeth. with
Yeah, well, I
toothpaste.
don't use Crest anymore because when I was using Crest and Colgate, like I had my gums were constantly bleeding. I had cavities all the freaking time, and I brushed every day. I've never been somebody who didn't, I've never been somebody who didn't brush their teeth.
Like me.
I guess those are your words, but anyway, yeah, I never had issues not brushing my teeth, but I kept getting cavities, and finally, I stopped brushing with Crest and Colgate. I went to Sensodyne and some off-brand stuff. I bought Alex Jones's stuff when it was available. I'm sure there's other healthy toothpastes out there, but I just started getting stuff you couldn't get at Walmart. And once I did that, all the cavities, the bleeding gums, all that crap stopped. It was the freaking toothpaste the whole time.
Yeah.
So
A lot of people use just charcoal.
Yeah.
Nasty.
I'm
Tastes
sure it
nasty,
does.
but it works.
Yeah, there's a recipe with charcoal and aloe vera that I've been meaning to try.
Oh, that would be foul.
You're supposed to add lemon juice so it ain't quite so bad. But anyway.
I don't know that would help. Not much.
Could you imagine the sour?
Oh gosh.
toothpaste?
Well, we're not doing it for taste, I guess. It'll wake you up in the morning. How about that? So, anyway, but yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. It's like keeping you sick is like the business model. But remember that, what was her name? Laura Davino? I can't remember. The book that we did, Unshrunk. Remember? She said the same. We did that book review. Unshrunk.
I listened to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said the same stuff. Keeping you sick is the business model. So they just,
Maybe you can just go way back. Like, the Romans used to keep their teeth
what
white.
they do.
They gargled urine.
I think
Ammonia whitens teeth, so they gargled urine. There was some famous quote somebody said. He's like, "Don't you know? Everybody knows that the whiter your teeth are, the more piss you're gargling." A little bit of history for you guys.
I like that.
Oh wow! I think I'd stick to
I'm gonna
charcoal
start
aloe
just saying
vera.
that randomly to people.
I think I'll just take yellow teeth. Thank
right.
you.
Peroxide works really well. Peroxide's been helping with tartar buildup. So yeah,
Just
gargling
I
peroxide.
say just yank them all
Don't
out.
drink
and
peroxide, by the way.
Don't do it.
So anyway, what were you saying, Trevor?
I say just yank them all out and roll with it.
Yeah, have wooden teeth.
No, just no teeth.
Well, that would make steak very difficult.
Not if it's cooked right.
It would have to. It would have.
That sounds like you've cooked it wrong.
What are you doing? Steak puree?
You can cook steak just right where it kind of just falls apart in your mouth.
That's a roast.
Yeah, basically like a roast almost.
I don't
Or
think it
just make
counts
it-
as steak at that point.
Or just make it so juicy,
Yeah.
like the callus almost still.
All right.
moving.
Well, we're gonna well, I don't know. I forget the segue. We're gonna play the video again and wrap this up for real quick.
And you spread it out over a period of years. And they pump so much stuff into those beautiful little babies. It's a disgrace. I don't see it. I think it's very
That's
bad.
another reason I think it's like a soft kill thing, but it's like policy. Like they obligate you to take like 7 of the things. Like when I was vaccinating Demi, like it was war just to spread them out.
Right.
It was like, look, I'm not saying we'll never take the vaccines, but she doesn't need 8 at the same time or 7 or however many it is at the same time.
We had to do a schedule, every
You gotta find
twice a month. Happy medium.
You got to find the right
schedule.
pediatrician. We haven't given Lucy any
Oh,
vaccines.
wow. Nice.
Yeah, None of our kids have had any.
I got so livid. I've told you the story when Demi was born about the nurses carting her off, but there was one. I think it was the measles, the 3M one, the measles, mumps, or something else or whatever. And she got such a high fever, and she just screamed and screamed and screamed. She screamed for a good chunk of the night. I was livid. Oh, I was livid. Of course, they'd pressured Jess to give it to her, And that's the thing. It's like, I wish, that's the thing that really makes me mad about it, is the amount of pressure these people put on parents is just disgusting. And so it's like, it's either a soft kill weapon or a money racket, one of the two. But, those nurses have got to be getting pressure from somebody themselves, because there's like an emotional bent to it. Like, they get mad if you try to space it out, like legitimately mad. So,
Yep.
I think a lot of it depends on the hospital. Like with Lucy, we didn't let them do anything to her, and you could tell the doctors, the pediatrician, they were so ticked. But then with Gideon, we went to Mercy, which is a Catholic hospital, and we didn't get any of that.
See, I think they went behind my back. We had, I think, if I remember correctly, we'd had the vaccine question before, and I'd said no. And then they turned around and asked Jess while she was high on that freaking drug or whatever, right before she's about to give birth. And of course she's out of it. And they do that pressure tactic when she's out of it. I mean, I don't remember if the epidural affects the brain or not, but she was not in a good state. It doesn't.
No, it just sort of paralyzes you from the waist down.
She was kind of, I guess, vulnerable in some capacity, if not outright drug. But she just had the epidural, and they went in after she'd had the epidural and asked her, and then she said yes, and I think there was some pressuring going on at that point. So they just ask until they go behind your back. They try to pit the parents against, like they do tricks. You know what I mean? They do tricks to get stuff.
Yeah. Like with me and Kim, they drug tested Kim without our knowledge.
Yeah, because they wanted to take her.
Yeah, they wanted to have.
They threatened Jess.
Couldn't you go back and sue them for that? Could you go back and sue them for that?
No, I complained, and they said, no, this is general policy. We drug test because Lucy was early. They were like, general policy. We drug test everybody who's
Is that
early.
really general policy?
I don't know.
I remember.
I wouldn't doubt it at that hospital.
I remember when Jess, because Demi had like a heart murmur, and so they took her to the ICU. And I remember about a day or two before she was supposed to go home, they gave her this sheet of this form that she was supposed to fill out. Like, she's supposed to get up an absurd amount to check on Demi all the time, even though Demi had healed at that point. And they were like, if you miss one line, we're going to take your kid away. Like, they threatened to take her kid away if she missed one line, And it's like, all right, are you a chart person, or like you're just like, are you looking for an excuse to take our kid away because we don't cooperate with you people? We don't want to,
Yeah.
Yeah,
One thing I learned after all this, I learned you can just get up and leave. You can just walk out of the hospital if your wife and the baby are good. You can just leave. You don't actually have to go through all this crap. Yeah. They can't hold you. You're not a prisoner.
They make you feel like a prisoner, though. They really do. It's awful. Yeah. So, I don't know.
I did look that up. The drug testing thing. I just asked as a general policy. The general policy regarding drug testing for birthing mothers, particularly those who are early in their pregnancy, is not uniform across the United States. Some states and hospital systems have updated their policies to be less punitive, focusing on supporting patients in recovery from substance use disorder.
I just think they look for excuses to...
So it might have just been simply the hospital you were at.
Yeah, it was a terrible hospital. Never go... Yeah, Cox is awful.
Yeah. I've heard bad things about them. So...
Yeah.
All right, well, let's finish this up. We'll do this another minute or two, and then we'll move on to the next subject.
they're pumping. It looks like they're pumping into a horse. You have a little child, little fragile child, and you get a vat of 80 different vaccines, I guess, 80 different blends, and they pump it in. So ideally, a woman won't take Tylenol. And on the vaccines, it would be good instead of one visit where they pump the baby, load it up with stuff. You'll do it over a period of 4 times or 5 times. I've been so into this issue for so many years just because I couldn't understand how a thing like this could happen. And it's artificially induced. It's not like something that when you go from all of those, healthy babies to a point where I don't even know structurally if a country can afford it. And that's the least of the problems. To have families destroyed over this is just so terrible. I also, and we've already done this, we want no mercury in the vaccine. We want no aluminum in the vaccine. The MMR, I think, should be taken separately. This is based on what I feel, the mumps, measles, and the 3 should be taken separately.
I agree with that. Like, yeah,
100%.
Demi was like, there's nothing worse than seeing your baby like in physical pain, and you can't do crap about it. And she was in physical pain. Like, I was just livid. Like, I can't describe how angry I was that night. But anyway, so we're about 8 minutes into this thing. I guess we'll finish this sentence and we'll wrap it up.
And it seems to be that when you mix them, there could be a problem. So there's no downside in taking them separately. In fact, they think it's better, so let it be separate. The chicken pox is already separate because when that got mixed in, I guess they made it 4 for a while, it really was bad. So they make chicken pox. Individually, they're okay. When you mix them, something maybe happens. So
Yeah. What a shock.
Yeah.
Their whole system shuts down sometimes.
It's like they're newborns. Why are you infecting them with 3 separate diseases to try to immunize them? That doesn't. There's no reason for it.
And who knows? Again, it's a kind of a coin toss. Is it a soft kill thing? They're mixing them to try to kill the kids, or are they mixing them because they're risk averse? Boy, it'd be so much cheaper if we could just cram all these into one vial. It could, but either way, it's just disgusting Machiavellian crap.
That's scary though. What's to say that they haven't already done it?
Done what?
Already mixed them.
Well, they are. That's what that MMR thing was. Mumps, measles, and I forget the other one.
No, I know, but what's to say that they're not putting them all in one vaccine and giving you 4 doses of the same thing?
Nothing would surprise me. Nothing. It's just evil. Anyway. Okay, well that's enough for this subject. So we're gonna move on. You guys have any final thoughts?
Moving on.
All right.
Not really.
Okay, well, guys, if you're still on the live stream, stay with us. We got another 2 subjects. If you are watching this after the fact, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Now, on to subject 2. We are going to be talking about... Sorry, Greg.
Let me... You can keep going. I'm going to have to plug my phone in, so this may take me a little while to get adjusted.
That's fine. That's perfectly fine. So I will just lead us in. So, let me just start with the intro. So, welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Tri-F Podcast, where we try not to mess the podcast up. And today, we are talking about cheesecake. You subscribing? No. We're talking about...
Sorry.
No, we're talking about the Epstein thing, updates on the Epstein situation. And Trevor, I am so frustrated.
What do you do now?
Huh? Well, this
What
is the
did he
thing
do
about
now?
Trump. Like Trump had a marvelous week. Like I like in every other respect, he has been like on the ball. Declared Antifa a terrorist organization, which is something I asked for explicitly. when this whole thing with Charlie Kirk happened. It was like one of my
Yeah, I
big
remember I was
lists,
there.
and he did it.
Yeah.
I was so happy to hear that. And so that was great. And then on top of that, he
Make you happy
he
and,
insulted the
clap your
UN,
hands.
which made me happy deep in my bones. I don't... The
did he
UN,
insult?
the United Nations, called him out for basically facilitating the illegal immigration and trying to collapse countries. Basically telling those sleazy, evil human beings, I know what you're doing. And that made me just so happy. I was so happy deep in my bones. And then this vaccine thing, he came out and did that and caused everybody to lose their minds. And that, like, just doing that when the vaccine companies have fought so hard to keep that from coming out, that made me happy. So he's just done a lot of good stuff this week. But this freaking Epstein thing, as I said at the beginning of the show, it is a turd in the punch bowl. It's a giant floating turd. And it's like, no matter how many good things he does, this is just going to keep overshadowing it. And he's got one more week. If Pam Bondi and Kash Patel still have their jobs by next Saturday, because next Saturday's October, and we don't have any new information on the list, then the stupid Three Stooges thing is replacing the graphic for faith, fiction, and folklore on the overlay. And I'm gonna keep the Three Stooges up with the words "still no list" around them until Kash Patel, Pam Bondi are fired and that Epstein list is back, or we at least have it, or something,
Bigfoot
some
release.
change in the status quo, because they're obviously slow rolling it, and we all know why. We all know why. It's because Epstein worked for the CIA, and basically he was a contractor, and they were paying him.
Is that real? Did he really
Yes,
work for this?
he did.
CIA?
You thought I was...
Wow, that makes
I know.
it so much
You thought
worse.
I was being tongue-in-cheek. No, he worked for the CIA. He was an operative or a contractor, one of the two. So,
He was a commie.
they're all commies. They all come from that same commie root. You know, basically, of course, when I say communist, I mean any ideology that equals that's my stuff. You know, that's my purse, I don't know you. But anyway, so, yeah.
Welcome back, Mr. Gray.
Not yet, not yet.
Oh, not yet. Give me a
So,
second.
No, I'm back.
so yeah, so Jim Acosta, his lawyer, said he was a CIA agent. So we've known this already. But now the guy who interviewed the witnesses said he's CIA. So now we've got multiple people, which we've had multiple people. Let me put it to you this way. We now have yet another person saying he's worked for the CIA, and that's why they're covering this crap up. He also said that Mr. Clinton was present during rapes, or the R word, on the plane.
Yeah, you can't say
it's
that.
not. So he was present for attacks, let's put it that way, on the plane. So, yeah, so we got Project Veritas leaking that information. So we're going to watch, or not Project Veritas, O'Keefe Media Group, because Veritas stabbed him in the back. I keep forgetting. So,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
so we're going to move on to O'Keefe Media Group playing, their interview. So we'll just play this really quick.
It's not talked about yet, but it'll soon come out that he was a CIA informant.
He was a CIA.
He wasn't a CIA. I think he's protecting a lot of other people. He's not protecting himself because there's nothing there, but he's protecting a lot of people. Because Trump's now saying it's a hoax, of the case like a hoax or something. I mean, come on, you know it's not a hoax. He's been on the plane, many times. It's just he was never on the plane with the kids. I've seen the itineraries and I've interviewed all the victims. There's never been an instance where Trump was on a plane with these kids and a rape occurred. But that can't be said for Clinton, and it can't be said for others. But while the Clintons were on the plane, while Bill Clinton was on the plane, there were rapes that occurred.
Overheard at Phoenix Airport on September 8th, 2025, a senior Justice Department investigator who personally worked on the Epstein case tells all. Glenn Prager, who has reviewed Epstein itineraries and has interviewed Epstein's victims, drops a bombshell. He says that the DOJ did not want to go after Epstein because he's a CIA asset, that the evidence from his investigation confirms that Bill Clinton was present for alleged rapes on the Lolita Express, and that President Trump was not present for the rapes that Glenn Prager investigated, but that he is protecting a lot of other people that were.
How about this whole Epstein thing that's like going on?
So I worked on that case. I used to interview all the victims, and my picture was 20 to 30 victims, you know, in Palm Beach that I was interviewing and dealing with and stuff like that. And then we would go ready to go to trial, and they would flip. Epstein would just pay them off, and they were just like these little kids. You know, they pay off their family. They're all broke kids and poor families, and all. So you pay them off like anywhere from $150,000 to $500,000, nothing in that guy's world.
Prager there describes how the victims that he interviewed were paid off by Epstein right before going to trial. Prager has worked as an investigator inside the Department of Justice for over 20 years. According to Prager's LinkedIn About page, it says that during the tenure at DOJ, Prager served as an inspector overseeing sensitive investigations involving major DOJ components, including the FBI, DEA, Bureau of Prisons, U.S. Marshal Service, ATF, and the U.S. Attorney's offices. This seems to corroborate what Prager told us. He was tasked with interviewing Epstein's rape victims and investigating flight logs. On his backpack in the airport, we spotted an embroidered FBI patch, which caught the attention of our citizen journalist.
I'll tell you this, because no, it's not talked about yet, but it'll soon come out that he was a CIA informant.
He was a CIA informant.
He was a CIA informant.
Although many have suspected it to be the case, this is the first time a Department of Justice official has confirmed that Epstein worked for the CIA and is a foreign asset.
So DOJ was settling a case, and they were just letting him, you know, do house arrest and they minimized his arrest. Part of that is because all the victims kept on flipping, and they didn't have anyone to go to trial with. The more importantly part is they didn't want to go after him. He's a, you know, he's an asset for the United States and Israel for the CIA. I just know that's what he was, and that's why he was protected so long for this. And people turned a blind eye about all this garbage that he was doing in the United States. You know, he had a lot of secrets. You know, more about Israeli stuff than anything else. I mean, he was doing stuff for Israel and the United States. He was, you know, he's working for both.
Glenn Prager, the Department of Justice investigator on the Epstein case, then talks about whether President Trump was involved. Many are trying to tie Trump to Epstein, but what Glenn Prager says is that Trump wasn't present during the inappropriate sexual behavior that he was investigating. But Prager does say that Bill Clinton was, backed up by his experience interviewing the victims and reviewing the Epstein Lolita Express itineraries. Quote, they killed the Epstein list to protect the Clintons.
But they claim that, you know, that Trump's, you know, involved in the rapes and all that stuff, and he wasn't. I mean, I've seen the agendas, I've seen the itineraries, and I've interviewed all the victims. There's never been an instance where Trump was on a plane with these kids and a rape occurred. But that can't be said for Clinton, and it can't be said for others. I remember that it was being killed because I know Clintons were on there. And
The Clintons were on there.
100%. And while the Clintons were on the plane, while Bill Clinton was on the plane, there were rapes that occurred. And I'm saying Trump, although as many flights as there were and all that kind of stuff, and on the island and all that stuff, he was never there during a single alleged rape. But that Clinton for sure, and that's where the big cover-up was.
The Department of Justice investigator inside the Trump Justice Department says that while Trump may not have been present during the crimes that Prager investigated, it is clear that Trump is, quote, protecting a lot of people.
I don't know what's new that I have never seen that he's so hesitant to now show what's going on, you know, and releasing all those files and stuff like that. I think he's protecting a lot of other people. He's not protecting himself because there's nothing there, but he's protecting a lot of people.
The citizen journalist boarded American Airlines Flight 1634 and landed in D.C. Monday at 8 o'clock at night and proceeded to go to dinner with this man, this DOJ investigator, at a restaurant called Blue Duck Tavern. Glenn Prager dislikes the fact Trump said the Epstein scandal is a hoax, but he also says, according to the evidence from his investigation, that Trump is not covering up for himself.
Because Trump's now saying it's a hoax, the case is like a hoax or something. I'm like, come on, you know it's not a hoax. He says a lot of stupid stuff. He's been on the plane, you know, many times. It's just he was never on the plane with the kids. People want to tie it to him and say he's covering up for himself, but he's not.
Now, this is a very good thing for President Trump and seemingly exonerates him from many people who claim that he was doing something inappropriate himself.
Okay, so just so you know, we're going to watch this until we read the guy's response. I'm not exactly sure when that is, but his response is one of the things I wanted to focus on. So we'll just hang on for there, but, you know, we're not just going to watch it and then shut it off and steal O'Keefe's stuff. So, by the way, if you want to watch the full video, go to O'Keefe Media Group. That's the YouTube channel. DOJ Epstein investigator says Epstein was CIA, and R word occurred while Clinton was on the plane. So that's the title. So with that said, you could watch that, the rest of it on your own time. We're just going to watch up to the response from the guy, and then we'll talk about it.
This dinner went on for an hour and 45 minutes as this Department of Justice investigator revealed things to a stranger that the leadership of the FBI and the Department of Justice has not. Prager revealed more information about Trump's hesitation to be fully transparent with the Epstein case, gave us some details about internal gripes against FBI Director Kash Patel from within the FBI, and he detailed a developing feud between Kash Patel and Attorney General Pam Bondi. If you'd like to see more of that conversation in the restaurant, you may subscribe to OMG and find it on our website.
Who is like the one name where you're like, oh my God?
Here he is. Hey there, is this Glenn?
Yes.
You work for the Department of Justice, correct?
No.
You don't work for the Department of Justice. You had a patch on your backpack that said FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, in the airport.
We're going to skip ahead.
Yeah.
And you talked about how you interviewed the Epstein people, all the Epstein victims. He lives with the guilt for knowing the truth. That is why he was so forthcoming in public in the airport. That is why others with national security secrets will continue to be so forthcoming to our army of citizen exposers. And there are many more out there like Glenn Prager. And now, right now, you who are watching must come forward and tell the truth and be transparent. Be a hero and do the right thing. In the last few weeks, I've reached out to top officials of the Department of Justice repeatedly ahead of these reports. Our attorneys even sent a letter to the FBI Director Kash Patel. There seems to be more of an interest, generally speaking, in covering their ass instead of telling the truth. While we expect that of the previous administrations, we expect better of the Trump administration and those who campaigned on the promise of transparency. Now, I was advised that reaching out far ahead of time would lead to this story being suppressed, something that my team, and I dare say all of the people who actually voted for this administration, can't comprehend. But these reports are going to continue coming out, and they will not be partisan or political.
Okay, well, I thought there was a response from the guy. Maybe it came later, but it was very jaded, and I work for the FBI. I didn't work there for... So what did he say? He said, I don't work there now. I worked there 15 years ago. It had a bunch of that political speak, which means somebody got to him. And maybe that was in a later video and I got it mixed up. But that's the gist of the story. Thoughts?
So this guy does work currently.
He doesn't work currently, to my knowledge.
No, so this
he was a lead investigator when it happened years ago.
Oh, so he was actually...
He was the guy conducting interviews and talking to witnesses on the ground when it happened.
So it's taken, what do you say, 15 years?
I don't remember the exact years. I've heard the number 15 thrown around, but it's just... I'd have to look it up. I'd have to look up when he was first arrested and whatnot, but...
So what, was people back then asking the same questions we are now? Like,
well, particularly...
Where's this list?
Well, not necessarily the list. People didn't realize there was a list, but people were like, this guy was a child trafficker. Why did he get such a lenient deal? That was what kind of made everybody suspicious of the guy in the first place, because you typically go to jail for forever for this kind of thing. He gets some sweetheart deal, and people asked the lawyer, they were like, hey, how did he get off so easily? And he was like, well, I was called to say back off of him because he's CIA. And the lawyer just straight up said it. He's like, I'm not going to fall on my sword. I'm going to tell him what they told me. He's CIA. And I'm like, okay, I ain't touching him. And so that was Acosta's response. And ever since then, it's been kind of floating in the breeze. And then Trump resurrects the whole thing in 2015, where he's like, Bill Clinton, he's got a lot of trouble on that island, you know, and all that. So what's really frustrating is Trump is the one that kicked this thing off again.
Yeah, and now he's defending it, or like
Yeah.
he's like trying to cover it up almost.
I mean, everything else in this administration, I won't say I've liked, but he's been exactly what he said he would be. He's been consistent. You know, there's things I disagree with, but he's been exactly who he said he was going to be. And I have no complaints on that front, even if I disagree with some of the things he's doing. But this is a complete 180. Like, this is just straight up duplicity, you know? And it just doesn't make any sense. It's like, how could you... Like, I think I know what it is. I have my opinion.
What do you think it is?
This guy was a blackmail artist. Like, this is... First of all, let me... This is my theory. I'm speculating. I don't know. This is my opinion, all right? I'm not very interested in the Israel connection because NSA, CIA, Mossad, MI6, they're all the same incestuous bunch. Okay, they all talk to the same people. That's what. There's a reason the guys in Mossad were going to the royal family in Britain for parties. There's a reason Ghislaine Maxwell was meeting with Prince Andrew. Like, these guys are all in the same crowd. They're the same people. So the intelligence branches are not just a Praetorian Guard for the United States. They're a Praetorian Guard for the West. And so...
Praetorian.
Sorry? Praetorian. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Praetorian Guard for the entire West. So, thank you, Greg. So, yeah, they're all the same bunch. So that's not interesting to me. But he was a blackmail operative, which means he's got connections everywhere. And all those connections have a tremendous amount of money. If I think personally, one of two things are going on. Either the people he blackmailed or the people who are afraid that they would look bad, they're either going, if we go to jail, the economy will crash because there's nobody going to run the companies, or they're saying something to the effect of, if you out us, we're going to crash this economy and move our money somewhere else. I think they're holding the economy hostage to an extent. That's what I think is going on.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard to do.
Yeah, because these are all big-time money people. He was running around Wall Street. You know.
I have a question that sort of bugged me for a while. Once Biden got in 2020, you would think that the FBI, all these people would burn the list and burn all of this sensitive information. Why do we assume that there is any information?
I don't think they thought Trump was going to get back in. I think that they were way overconfident with their January 6th crap. And I think they might have... This is what I think happened. I think they sat on it until he won the election, and then they started burning crap like crazy, didn't get it all, and decided to poison pill it. That's what I think they did, because there was terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of data, and it's spread throughout different departments. Like the CIA's got some, Southern District of New York had some. I think, because like if you want to understand how the deep state works, and we saw a good chunk of this with Tulsi Gabbard's releases of the whole Russiagate scandal. Like the way I think of it is, imagine a guy holding a watch. You know, so you've got the brain, the guy itself. That's kind of like your billionaires, your people out of Europe that have got the money and are, you know, they're the ones influencing policy with money. You know, senator can be bought for $10,000. There's guys that act from there was a guy from BlackRock, I think, who said that. Like they pay off politicians to get the policies they want. And so you've got that bunch. That bunch is the head of this thing. The intelligence apparatus, your Mossad, MI6, CIA, NSA, That's the hand holding the watch. The body of the watch and the gears and the hands and everything else, that's your media, your NGOs, your government agencies. And the blackmail is the battery that keeps the watch going. So I think they wanted to keep all that stuff because that's how they're pressuring politicians and other companies to do what they want them to do. Yeah, they wanted to keep the leverage, and so they're going to find any excuse in the world to sit on it until Trump wins, and then they're like, oh, crap. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's a rather dumb, kind of a dumb gamble on
Well,
their
they were
point.
very overconfident. I mean, it was dumb to run Ron DeSantis. I mean, it was dumb to run Nikki Haley. But I don't think their assassins' bullets had ever missed before. They're like, we accused him of a coup and people believed us. And then we'll throw him in jail for 400 years. Well, we've still got bullets.
And if that fails, we'll shoot
and
him.
if that doesn't work, we'll shoot him. I just don't think they thought he would actually, escape all of that. And so I think they sat on it.
Yeah.
Because I thought I imagine they thought they'd won after January 6th. So that's my opinion.
So why is he sitting on it?
That's what doesn't make any sense. That's why I'm speculating that the guys that know they're on that list are holding the economy hostage. That's my opinion. Because I'm like, what? And me, I'm like, what is the most important thing in Trump's world? He's a money guy. He's a money guy.
He's a businessman. Yeah, he
and
is
so
a
it would have.
businessman. He's not going to ruin the economy just to.
Yeah. That's a sensitive point with him, and I think they'd press that button personally if they have that kind of leverage. And if this Epstein guy was as big as everybody thinks he is, then he would. I mean, if you've got Bill Gates and I don't know, I don't want to say any other specific names, but the guy who was the head of Victoria's Secret. I mean, all the big companies that produce stuff for this economy, if they've all been in the same room with him or they've actually done stuff, none of them are going to want to be outed.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is. And I think I'm of the mind, justice be done, may the heavens fall. Because you get rid of this, you get rid of the CIA's battery. You get rid of the intelligence, the Praetorian. Say it again, Greg, so I don't say it wrong. Praetorian Guard. You get rid of the Praetorian Guard's battery if you deal with the blackmail racket.
Yeah.
And so.
And this isn't something you can just change the battery.
Yeah, it would take years and years and years, especially if you expose the methods. Because we're not just talking about names, we're talking about sources and methods. We're talking about how these guys operate, and they're going to have to rebuild all that if it gets outed.
Organization.
So I think it's, and I'll also say something else. This is just purely speculative. Hey, we got another emoji! Hooray!
I think CLRS might be confused.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
But I'll say all this. I think, and this is just me, I'm speculating. I don't know. But I think the government has probably been in charge of building and propping companies up directly. So, there's the confused emoji, Trevor.
Oh, okay.
I think that, well, for example, and this is, again, speculation, don't know, but I remember Altel was the biggest phone company for forever. They were big enough to get rid of roaming. How many of y'all remember roaming? Oh, yeah. Yeah, me and Jess couldn't talk to each other until after 8 o'clock because of roaming. Even though, we lived in towns like right across from each other. They were still roaming.
Oh,
Yeah. Altel was the guys that got those networks to stop, charging extra for calling to other networks. 928.
928.
I don't know what that means.
Those are angel numbers.
Gotcha. Oh, she deleted it. Or he deleted it.
They deleted it.
Anyway, so yeah, I think, but Altel was big enough to get rid of all that. And then, out of the blue, Verizon, who I never met anybody who liked Verizon. All of a sudden, Altel goes bankrupt, and Verizon is the biggest company in the world. It made no sense at the time when it happened. Absolutely none. And then, wouldn't you know it, what a coinky of a ding-darn-dink, it happens to be that Verizon is giving in the NSA all its data. Weird. Money bags, exactly. See? Money bags, CLRS. Money bags. So, bags of money. I mean, can I prove it? No. Do I have any proof of this? No. Yes. But it's just a heck of a coincidence. And I'm like, okay, if the government is really that involved in business, then I imagine a situation like what's going on with Epstein would get really complicated really fast.
The proof is in the pudding.
Well, we don't have a capitalist system. It's as crony as you can get.
Cronaris? How does it go? Cronaris?
That's a good question. You should look that up. I don't even know what you're trying to say.
Well, there's a full word with it.
Well,
Cronyism?
Cronyism. Yes,
That's
cronyism.
it.
You're right.
Thank you.
Okay, so do you guys have any thoughts?
Thinking.
I don't know, man. It's like you said, complicated, and I hope it all comes out.
Well, am I a crazy person? Am I being conspiratorial for thinking that maybe the government has chosen winners and losers over the years?
Well, of course you're a conspiracy theorist, but that doesn't mean
it's a good thing. Like bread lines.
It is good to ask questions.
Oh, that's what I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions, man. What are you talking about?
Like, where's the
list? That's a very good question. Where's the list?
Trust the science, and you'll find the list.
Yeah, I'm sure. So,
the list will set you
free. All right. Well, anyway, I'm very disappointed that Trump has not kept his word on this, and I don't want to put my Three Stooges logo. It was a funny bit when we did it, but it hurt a little, and I don't want to have to do it again. But so help me, I will.
Can I just ask, you are assuming that when Trump got into office, there was stuff to find.
Yeah,
I think it's entirely possible that they burned the list and they burned most of the information and it's gone. And now Trump is in this awkward situation where he promised all this information and there's just nothing there.
Why don't you think he's admitting that? Like, if that's what's going on, why don't you think he just says they destroyed everything? I'd believe him if he said it.
We need to get Greg and Mike.
Do what?
Sorry, I was thinking.
He's wanting to get you a microphone, but you're on your cell phone, so it probably wouldn't matter.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just think that makes a certain amount of sense as to why he now doesn't have any information to give.
I would be inclined to believe you if it wasn't for the fact that he just, he had so much credibility, especially after January. I mean, he hit the ground running in January, and he did a lot of really good stuff really fast. I mean, his approval and credibility couldn't have been any higher. And if he had said they destroyed it, I mean, I'd have been right there with him.
If he had said it, then everybody would have believed him.
I mean, because you're right. You would think, they would have destroyed it. You would think that they would. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to have done that. Hey, I don't know what that flag is, but it's a cool emoji. Thank you, CLRS. So, anyway.
I don't know.
So, yeah, I think that I would believe that if he just said it. I think something has to exist because they're lying about something, whatever it is. It just seems like it would have been easier to, just come out and say they got rid of it all. I mean, heck, they could have lied and said they got rid of it all, even if it still existed. And I would have believed them in January. So I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What does it matter? But then Trump goes, it's a hoax. I'm like, it's a hoax? The guy, what do you mean it's a hoax? The guy existed. What are you even talking about? It turns out they're talking about this horrible poem that the Wall Street Journal said he wrote. Anyway. So, all right, I think we've kicked this dead horse enough. Do y'all have any final thoughts?
Nay.
Yeah.
Trevor.
Not
All
particularly.
right. Okay, well, we're going to let this go. Next week, the Three Stooges logo is coming back on the overlay if he doesn't at least fire somebody. Because, hey, I can't use the Three Stooges overlay if one of them is gone.
Yep. One
Yeah.
of them is gone.
So, I don't want to do it. Don't make me do it. But I doubt he's going to fire him now because they just, indicted James Comey, which was another great thing. Like, I'm very happy that they indicted James Comey. His daughter was probably one of the guys leading the cover-up on the Epstein list. So, I mean, there's just so many good things that he's been doing. And this is just, like I said, a turd in a punch bowl. It's so unbelievably frustrating. So, all right. Well, we're going to move on to subject number 3. If you are on the live stream, CLRS gives us an alien and a droid, and then another alien and a droid. Sweet. All right. Well, and then a third alien and a droid. Okay. Well, guys, if you're on the live stream, please stay with us. We got at least one more subject to cover. If you are watching this after the fact, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Now, on to subject number 3. CLRS is continuing to give us robots and aliens. That's what she's trying to... They're telling us the truth. The AI is alien. We knew it all along. We're actually talking to ChatGTP is actually ET, and we've been talking to outer space the whole time.
Would not be the most surprising thing.
That would be the least surprising thing that happened since 2020. So I like the fish. I don't know whatever that is. Okay, so on to the next subject. Well, let me first off do the introduction. So, welcome to Faith, Fiction, and Folklore, or as we like to call it, the Try-F Podcast, where we try not to F the podcast up. And on this part 3, we are going to talk about The Matrix. I haven't decided if we're going to talk about the Matrix movie or like just the first one or the entire franchise. So... what do you guys think?
We'll just go with what we got.
Well,
it has been so long since I've watched any of those.
I know, it's been a little bit. But I wanted to, we wanted to do some reviews for fiction. We've been trying to figure out a way how to add fiction onto this because we just end up constantly talking about conspiracy theories and then complaining about preachers. And I'm like, we've got a whole other subject to cover. So, I've been trying to figure out how to incorporate that. So... I guess I will say this. So this is kind of a takeoff of my articles from Mind Matters News. When I first started writing for Mind Matters News, I was basically writing in reaction to the Matrix Resurrections film coming out. Now, how do you remember? Did any of you see Matrix Resurrections?
I haven't seen it yet.
You didn't see it, Greg?
No, you watched
you were with me. Okay, great. Yeah. That's right, because I was actually in Missouri at that point. Yeah, December. Wow. I forget things. So, yeah, what did you think of that movie, Greg, when you saw it in theaters?
It's been a while. I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was all right.
Yeah.
It seemed like it had some... It was a little annoying because they clearly wanted to upstage Neo for the strong, independent woman thing.
Real quick.
A little bit of feminism in there.
Gotcha. Yeah. Trevor?
Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah, spoilers. Even though this franchise is like years old. Yeah, so I remember that. I wasn't sure... They might have been going with a feminist narrative. I think it kind of worked in that one because I thought that was like the only way to fix it. Because they'd killed off Neo. And so I was like, well, how the heck are they going to bring back the one and then up the stakes. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. And so,
Yeah, how do you up the stakes?
yeah,
after,
it's like once your protagonist rises from
after the chosen one saves the world, how do you up the stakes after that? Yeah.
It's like, how are you going to do that? And so I thought, well, adding this didactic one thing and kind of explaining it that way, I'm like, okay. It's kind of like that book by Stephen King, Misery, where he has to come up with this very convoluted way to resurrect his dead character. Otherwise, the girl's going to break his feet, you know? I'm like, that's fair. It doesn't make a lick of sense, but it's fair. I kind of thought it's almost like the directors were tied to a bed, and Annie Wilkes was going, "You're going to bring Neo back, so I'm going to make you drink the mop water again." So,
well, that's what they do in the show Supernatural. They keep bringing the main characters back.
I know, but let's be honest, Supernatural sucked after season 5. It just sucked.
Well, I don't know.
I thought season 4 was peak.
But
dude, oh gosh, no, there are objective criterion that says Supernatural after season 5 sucks. I will debate you.
I will.
It's terrible. Regurgitate your debate. That means you're going to repeat whatever I say, Trevor. You need to get your analogy fixed. Anyway, back to the Matrix. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't horribly annoyed by it, even though it was kind of girl power-y, because I do have to admit, the whole time I was watching the original trilogy, I just looked at Trinity and I'm like, why are you here? What do you do?
That's this woman, man.
It's like, she was just the girl. And I'm like,
she's his motivation for everything.
Yeah, exactly. She just serves as his why constantly. So, but she never does anything. So I was like, you know what? Give her a job. That's fair. But so, I mean, I thought that kind of limped out of it. Let's go ahead and read what I wrote, even though I have no memory of what I wrote. This could go horribly right or horribly wrong. I don't know what's going to happen. But I picked my recap of the first trilogy. And then we'll do the recap of Resurrections if this doesn't take too long. So, let's see. Come on now. What are you doing to me? Excuse me, I'm having technical difficulties.
So Resurrection is
number 4.
Have either one of you seen the cartoon version? I don't think it has anything to do with the main story.
Yeah, I think I did once, but it's been so long I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, it was rather confusing.
I'm actually going to change this and go to the recap of Resurrections since we started talking about Resurrections. I think that makes more sense. I'm trying to make this actually usable for a video instead of just incoherent rambling. So, let's see.
Yeah, we've had a few of those.
Yeah, we've had a few of those.
Where I just give dad jokes and you and Cody ramble.
Yeah.
I'm a rambling man.
Okay, well, this might actually be interesting. So I had a thought while watching this in theaters, and I do remember this thought. So the title of this one is The Matrix Resurrections, Technology as a Soft Magic System. So I guess we're going to alter the title of this video. We're just talking about The Matrix Resurrections. So let's narrow it down. So I wrote, stakes and believability are connected, especially when it comes to science fiction. Last time we discussed the most controversial element of The Matrix Resurrections, as well as the meta-narrative Lana Wachowski set out to establish at the beginning of the film. Now, The Matrix Resurrection is much better than The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions. That's like saying water is wet, because it at least brings the original trilogy full circle.
Water is not wet.
That being said, there are loads of problems, and many of them are issues I've already discussed in reviews of the earlier films. First, we have the pacing issue. Wachowski says too much, too fast. This time, we're not getting conflicting narratives that are confusing the plot, but rather random tangents that have nothing to do with the story. Don't get me wrong. I love the shots taken at the studio for forcing Lana into this situation. Yeah, so the studio had forced her, or him, because it's tranny, but forced him to make the movie. And he didn't want to, so he basically took shots at them, which I appreciated, actually. So I got a real vindictive pleasure out of it, but it has nothing to do with the story. This rant, while fair, feels forced and bogs the story down. Second, the machines become sentient with zero explanation as to how any of this is happening. We get pet robots, magnetic beads that form humanoid representations of computer programs, and Agent Smith becoming who knows what. It's doubtful even Lana knows what Smith is anymore. Smith is no longer a virus, but he is somehow connected to Neo. So when the machines bring Neo back to life, Smith is along for the ride. This doesn't make sense. The whole point of Neo's sacrifice was to kill Smith. So when the machines brought Neo back, why wouldn't they just leave Smith dead because he nearly destroyed the Matrix last time? Why are Neo and Smith a package deal? How are they packaged? Given that Trinity is now a package deal with Neo, is Smith connected to her? And what was the point of bringing Smith back in the first place? The story arc should be done. We have a new villain now, and they couldn't get Hugo Weaving to return for the project, so we can't even attribute this narrative decision to fan service. What is the point of having Agent Smith when he's not betrayed by Hugo Weaving? And I would play the video, but we'll get hit with a copyright. Oh, and yeah, the machines brought Neo and Trinity back from the dead. They had a resurrection program on standby. Now, I honestly prefer this over Neo and Trinity being programs hidden within the Matrix. Having your characters really alive is helpful for the stakes of your film. But logistically, we learned that with alien resurrections. It doesn't count if they're a clone. Anyway. Having your characters really alive is...
How dare you?
No,
She's
she
a
is
nice
not.
lady.
Having her characters really alive is helpful for the stakes of your film, but logistically, it's just dumb. How can machines who are just now figuring out what life even is be capable of resurrecting human bodies? And now, since there is an established resurrection program with zero explanation as to how it works, the writers can bring any character back at will. They've simultaneously resurrected and killed their stakes in one decision. When you don't explain anything, you can't set limitations, and therefore you destroy any tension a viewer might feel for a character. If sci-fi technology operates the same way as a hard magic system in fantasy... in sci-fi, technology operates the same way as a hard magic system in fantasy. There are two types of magic systems, one hard, the other soft, and both serve particular functions within the fantasy genre. A soft magic system is usually given to a character who is meant to serve as an authority figure or is somehow elevated above the protagonist in the story. The reader or viewer is not meant to understand the rules of this person's ability, because the person is above it all. Think Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings. A hard magic system is meant primarily for a protagonist. The strictness of the rules for the magic system can vary quite a bit, but the reader or viewer must have some understanding as to how the system works, because these rules are, in part, how the writer sets the stakes for the story. Think Harry Dresden of the Dresden Files. In The Matrix, the technology is being used as a soft system when it should be used as a hard system. This is the core of the problem. With the series as a whole, from the other character's perspective, Neo is above it all, so it makes sense to keep his abilities mysterious. But the problem is he's our protagonist, so we need to have some understanding as to what he can do. There's a perfect example of this conflict within the newest film. Near the end, Neo attempts to fly and can't. From a narrative standpoint, this is done so Trinity can fly at the final moment to save the day. Now, one can infer that Neo is simply rusty, but the film doesn't say this. And we see Neo blocking bullets and throwing people across the room at other points in the film. So why is he able to do some things and not others, especially considering his life is in danger in each scenario? This lack of explanation makes Trinity's glorious moments seem like a cheap contrivance. And all it would have taken to prevent this sentiment was a few lines of dialogue establishing Neo's problem. Perhaps the machines programmed him to have a fear of heights. So, all right, we don't need to read the whole thing, but that gives you a gist of what the basic issue was. They brought him back to life. They didn't really explain how anything worked very well, but I was still happy to have the characters back, so that was kind of my attitude. Thoughts, or did I read too fast and just ramble?
Did they explain how they brought him back?
No, that's the problem. They just had a resurrection. They had a resurrection
back.
program on standby.
They said resurrection.
Yeah. It's in the title. That's your
That's
explanation, Trevor.
I need more explanation than that. You know that.
Most viewers would.
How did Keanu Reeves do?
From an acting standpoint, he was Keanu Reeves. He did a great job.
Great. Sweet.
He's a
I
cool
don't know
guy,
Trinity's
so I'm
name.
not going
What's
to
her name?
complain about Keanu Reeves. I don't know any of the others, though.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
I mean, it was a weird movie because it's like I really enjoyed having them back, you know.
no.
But
Was he original Neo character, or was he more of a John
he
Wick
was still
type?
Neo. Yeah,
Still Neo?
he was still Neo. They didn't have
No,
Morpheus
I want to
though,
watch it more.
which was absurd. It's like, how do
Really?
you have the Matrix about Morpheus?
All
Maybe
you had
they-
to say was
Right,
resurrection.
right.
Yeah. I guess I could have resurrected everybody, huh? Just redid the whole thing.
They could
Yeah.
have. That's the problem of not establishing any stakes or
Right.
rules.
This last movie is definitely the last movie because there's nowhere to go from here. So
The only way to go is down.
yeah, well, I mean, if you kill somebody, you can just bring him back. So how do you have an additional film? And you certainly can't have like your protagonist die again because it's like, well, what was the point of that?
Well, just give the rights to Disney. They'll figure it out.
They've done such a wonderful job.
Masters of their craft, Disney.
Insert green teat milk. And an angry
no.
Jedi hermit.
That was gross. That will forever haunt my memory.
Anyway. So
Because I seen that in theaters, so it was up close.
So, did all of that make sense, Mr. Greg? I wrote this like 3 years ago, so I barely remember what I wrote.
No, yeah, it makes perfect sense. If they wanted to make a movie, but they were just like, ooh, money, and they spent zero time establishing rules or stakes or important things in telling a story.
Yeah.
It's just a spectacle, and
What are you saying?
Member
Nobody
berries.
cares about the details anymore?
Yeah, nobody apparently. Well, the studio certainly didn't. You would think that when your director inserts dialogue complaining about you, you might be on the wrong track. But apparently it was like, whatever, money.
We want the money.
A lot of money. I don't
you
care.
can complain about me. That's just fine. Why? Goodness. So, let me see if I can find anything else I said on it. Do you guys have any other thoughts while I look for the off chance I actually said something else relatively intelligent?
So if you were to try to convince me to watch it, what would you say?
Why would I want to convince you to watch it?
Well, now I don't want to watch it.
I mean, I guess if you're just bored and you have nothing else to do on a Saturday night, it's not the worst thing you could watch.
Okay.
Well,
It's Keanu Reeves.
yeah.
Yeah. Go on,
There you go. That's the best marketing shtick. That's what they should have put on the movie poster. It's Keanu Reeves. Come on.
Keanu Reeves, watch it.
All right. So, yeah, that's not right. Okay, maybe I have something relatively nice in the last one. If I were to try to convince you to watch it, I will say this: if the last one like depressed you, because it depressed me.
You talking about Revolution?
Yeah, Matrix Revolutions, because it was like, I don't know. I guess I thought Neo as the one was very lackluster in that film. And it was a little, I don't know, just like having Smith randomly come up and, and then I think what annoyed me was, yeah, you have the one figure who sacrifices himself, and that's great, but he sacrifices himself to save both the machines and the humans. It's kind of like,
Why would
yeah,
he do
it's
that?
kind of like your hero sacrificing himself so the bad guys and the good guys can get along. It's like, no, part of being the one is they're supposed to like bring justice. They're supposed to punish the bad guys and reward the good guys and restore the good guys. That's kind of the point of the one trope. By having Smith just become this random chaotic element that forces the humans and the robots together, I kind of just felt like that undermined the whole point of the first movie.
I have wondered if Resurrection is like trying to tell us the future. What's going to happen in reality.
Well, there are some people that think we're in a Matrix now.
Exactly.
And I'm like, well, they're really crappy programmers.
Screwed.
All right, let me end with this one. All right. Call me a sentimental child, but I liked watching Neo and Trinity fly off into the sunset. I liked watching them fly in the same way those random birds keep flying in a circle. Did it make sense? No. Was the theme or point behind the parallel? What was the theme or point behind the parallel? I have no clue. But I can forgive a lot of stupid for the sake of a happy ending. And I think that's what Wachowski was trying to give us. If a soulless studio forces you to make a sequel that doesn't need to be made, you might not be able to make the movie coherent, but at least you can give it a little heart. So...
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well.
It sounds like they just wanted to make a movie where they lived happily.
And you know what? I don't mind that.
They just wanted to make money.
Yeah, let's be honest. It's money. It's
And
money.
make money.
They just wanted
But
to
we
make
got a
money.
happy ending out of it. So there you go.
Yeah.
A very incoherent, goofy, happy ending. But a happy ending nonetheless. So there you go, boys and girls. I think we've said everything that needs to be said on this subject. What do you all think?
Or said everything that we need to be thinking.
Sure. Do you have any final thoughts, either one of you?
No.
Please let it
Oh,
die.
yeah, please don't let it be another one. Oh, my gosh. Poor Keanu.
Let it
The
die.
one is in a wheelchair. What are we going to do now? It's like just flying around in a wheelchair, stopping Agent Smith. It's just ridiculous.
Is he actually in a wheelchair?
I'm just saying he's going to be
okay.
93. It's that line with Hugh Jackman and Deadpool from that movie. It's like, you're going to be doing this till you're 90. So, yeah, it's pretty much. Yeah, it needs to die. They had their happy ending. Let it be over. Let it be done. No more Matrix movies. None. Finito. Please.
We should do one on the Trimmers.
That is a good film. I don't know.
The first one is good. There's
The
like
first was good.
how many cheap sequels
There were a
there?
bunch, but they're all glorious. They're bad in that glorious B-movie way. It's like...
That wouldn't be the worst movie.
All better than anything we're getting right now. So,
Yeah.
that's like you would think like B movies were mocked when we were younger. Now they're like
8
art.
Trimmers.
8
movies.
Trimmers movies.
Yeah, the one that I laughed my butt at on that one was the ones where the worms learn to fart fly.
Fart fly. What?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. They got flyers. And,
I remember
yeah.
the third one. They kind of turned into like raptor things.
Yeah, after that one, I think it's after that one they learned that the big ones on the ground, they learned that if they built up enough gas in their system, they could release it all at once and take off.
That is ridiculous.
It's hilarious. I laughed the whole time.
I need to watch
All of
those.
it better than The Force Awakens. So,
Yeah.
all
To each
right.
their own. I actually like The Force
Oh,
Awakens.
gosh. If I'm still writing for Mind Matters News,
We're gonna go on that one.
let's see when, because May's the 10-year anniversary. We're gonna re-explore that nightmare of a trilogy. Because I didn't have it, I didn't get to have my say on that then, back when it was all happening. We'll do it now, and we'll do it live.
Now.
So,
And we got to be very careful because Disney loves to go after people with copyright stuff.
oh, that's fine. That's fine. We're gonna be demonetized the second we get. We're gonna be like, our channel's gonna be destroyed the second we get monetized anyway. We've got so many copyrights. I think the fact that we're not monetized is what's keeping us alive. We're gonna have to delete a lot of videos. But anyway, they'll be on Rumble.
Or just
they'll be on
wrap
Rumble. So anyway, okay. So before we close, because I think we've officially killed enough time, I have got an announcement. Excuse me. I have got an announcement to make. I told Bad Intro that I would make the announcement because he brought it up a few weeks ago. And so I said I would talk about it.
And
He's probably not even here. But, that's okay. He'll see it eventually, maybe. So I have been working on some books for about 3 years. And had I known, I was trying to do what's called a rapid release strategy on Amazon. And the typical number is 4, and I decided I was going to do 6. Had I known it was going to take me 3 or 4 years to do 6 books, I never would have attempted this. But I went ahead and committed, and now we're getting to the point where it's time to start releasing stuff. The first one that's going to come out, excuse me here, the first one that's supposed to come out is, let me pull the book cover up. This is just a working book cover. I don't know if we're going to use this one. Hang on, let me make sure I've actually got this thing on the stream. Bear with me, folks. I should have been better prepared.
Better prepared.
Better prepared. All right. Hang on, adjusting squares.
Being prepared is for nerds.
No, it isn't. What are you talking about? Why do you say stuff like that?
Just to get under your skin.
All right.
I missed.
All right, here we go.
I got a mosquito flying around.
I've got it. This took forever, and I apologize for it taking forever. Let me close.
Forever and a half.
What else? There's another one. What is this? Why is that not? This is taking too long. All right, that's okay. We're just gonna leave it as it is. Ignore. There we go.
Can you
there
just
we go.
show your share screen?
Yeah, I'm just having technical issues, Trevor. Don't mind me. It's OBS.
Oh,
it's doing that stupid thing where it's like moving every square except the one I want it to. It's like, oh.
I don't like it when
so
it
this
does
is a little
that.
small, but this is the book cover. So the first one's called The Familiar, Annals of Psalm, Book 1 of the Covenant Crisis. I like this movie a lot. Basically, the plot is pretty straightforward. Dude gives a vampire his blood. Now she wants his wife. Hilarity ensues. So I am very happy to have finally got to this phase. The release date is February 3rd. So that's what we're shooting for. Because wouldn't you know it, Harry Dresden is coming out with 12 months. Like, he did it like... I was going to release it in January, and then I learned that he was releasing his stuff in January. So I'm like, well, crap, I can't... I'll get buried if I try to compete with Butcher. So we're doing it a couple weeks after Butcher gets done with 12 months. So that's when the first one comes out. And I hope you guys will buy it. I hope you will like it. I liked writing it. And I hope you enjoy. So that's my announcement. Any final thoughts before we close out the live stream?
Sweet. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome, man.
Thank you. Hope you all like it, because you're going to be getting free copies. Because I need to... You don't write something for 3 years and have nobody read it. But anyway. So... Okay. All right. Well, anything else?
I think that'll do it.
Any final thoughts on the Matrix Revolutions? Resurrection.
I'm gonna go watch it.
Okay. Well, it's Keanu Reeves, so that's all you need.
I'm just gonna watch his parts.
That's actually a really good idea. So. All right, Greg. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to wrap up the stream for the evening. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.